think that when we're in that space, it becomes particularly important for us to take care of ourselves. Because one, nobody else is going to look after our community but us, and we have to be ready in body, mind, soul, and spirit to do that work, especially when things get tough. So I think the best way to start this program is to get a warm welcome from our hosts at Holman. What a wonderful place to be in fellowship with one another today. And I would now like to invite and welcome to the stage Claudia Spears, co-chair of the Health and Wellness Ministry here at Holman. Please join me in welcoming Claudia Spears.
Thank you, Attorney Acker. As was stated, my name is Claudia Spears, and it is my honor and privilege to welcome you here to Holman today. I welcome you on behalf of Holman United Methodist Church and all of its members, and also on behalf of our pastor, our senior pastor, Reverend Victor Cyrus Franklin, who could not be with us today. It is my honor and privilege, along with several other health personnel, health people here at Holman, to serve as the co-chair of Health and Wellness. And what we do is just what is happening today. We're very, very much interested in health and wellness for our community. And so with that, I just want you to be comfortable, to know that we're very, very happy to have you. And if there's anything that we can do to make your visit today with us more comfortable, just come to us, to Dr. Lisa Nicholas here, to Sister Camille, raise your hand. Dr. Doris Woods, all of us, we're happy to have you. And thank you very much for bringing this much needed health information to all of us today.
Thank you, Claudia. Everyone looks so beautiful. This is such a gorgeous group. Why not? Everybody should give themselves a round of applause for both showing up and being so dazzling. So I would next like to invite to the stage the chapter presidents of the Beverly Hills West chapter of the Lynx and the Los Angeles chapter of the Lynx, who are responsible for putting together this magnificent event. First, we'll hear from Zena Portlock Houston, president of the Beverly Hills West chapter of the Lynx.
Thank you, Attorney Tanya Acker and my chapter member. Welcome, everyone. It's so wonderful to be here for the third year in a row. Before I get into my remarks, I would like for every member of the Beverly Hills West chapter to please stand. And if you're standing, just wave your hand. Thank you, sisters, for being here today. A little bit about our chapter. We were founded May 25th, 1985, and we'll be celebrating our 40th anniversary May 31st. And you're all invited to come and be a part of that celebration. The Lynx Incorporated was founded in 1946, and we have an international membership that consists of over 17,000 members worldwide, 299 plus chapters globally, including 41 states, the District of Columbia, the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, and the United Kingdom. And we are one of the nation's oldest, largest service organizations for women of African ancestry. Today's event is particularly rewarding for me because my mom passed away from complications of end-stage diabetes. And so the more we know, the better we can do. And I hope that each one of us walks away with something that we didn't know previously that will help us in our journeys to maintaining our health, making sure we know what our glucose levels are, our blood pressure. All of those things are important, and staying active, keep moving, right? Because movement makes a big difference. Just a little bit of exercise every day is tremendously important. So together with the president of the Los Angeles chapter is Dr. Lisa Nicholas, and she will now bring remarks as well.
Good morning, good morning. Thank you, Zena, for that beautiful and eloquent introduction, as well as an overview about the Links Incorporated. And I'm just so happy to see all of you here today on a Saturday morning, right? Bright and early, and you're here looking very anxious and ready to hear some very important information. As was indicated, my name is Lisa Nicholas. People call me Dr. Lisa, and I am the very proud president of the Los Angeles chapter of the Links Incorporated. My dear sisters, could you please rise to show your representation with us this morning? All right, all right. Oh my goodness, I see more people coming in as the hour continues. Also, this is my church home. I'm very proud and happy to be here, and it just brings me such joy to see all my beautiful church members coming here to hear this very important information this morning. I'm not going to reiterate the history about the Links, but I want to emphasize that our organization is all about friendship through service. And one of the highlights of what we do is try to bring forth very factual and important information to keep us all healthy, keep us all ready for the journey that God has set before us. I am very, very happy and honored to be here representing our chapter as well as my church as it relates to this work effort. So I'm not going to prolong the program anymore. I think that we're going to have an introduction of our illustrious leader, our area director, and I don't know if you want to introduce her or if I should go ahead and introduce her. Okay, Zena, you're going to do that.
Thank you so much, Dr. Lisa. I'm going to adopt that. It's my honor and privilege to introduce someone to you that is the 10th chapter president of the Beverly Hills, West California chapter of the Links Incorporated. She's also our Western area director, overseeing 61 chapters throughout the Western region. She is also a physician, but not just a physician, an award-winning physician. Her accolades are numerous, and with her busy schedule, we're just grateful that she's able to be with us this morning and spend some time with us and share some remarks. Dr. Karen Ragland Cole.
Thank you, Zena Portlock Houston, my chapter president, for that introduction. And I'd like to say welcome as well, and so proud to see everyone this morning. I want to start by saying thank you to the presidents and the members of both chapters. My chapter, Beverly Hills West, Zena Portlock Houston is the president, and also Lisa Nichols, the president of the Los Angeles chapter. It is a phenomenal program. This is our third year being here, and I am just so proud of all the work that they do to put this on. So thank you again, and I just want to give them right now a round of applause. So I am the Western Area Director, and I bring greetings on behalf of all of our 61 chapters. We are in 10 states and over 5 time zones where we have our mantra, linked to connect, create, and collaborate. And we connect with one another, we connect with our chapters, and we connect with our communities. And this is one of the programs that we do that with. So I wanted to say that the Links Incorporated, as you've heard already, is an old African-American professional women's organization, and we represent over 17,000 women, and as Zena Portlock Houston said, 299 chapters across the country, and we're an international organization. And one of the things that I want to share with you is our mission. Our mission is Friends Transforming Communities Through Service. And we feel that there is no better way to do that than to improve the health of our communities. So we partner with different organizations to do that. And this one is Black KARE. This is our Black KARE initiative. So if you look at your program, I think it may even say what the KARE stands for, KARE, and the K is kidney, A is awareness, R is for resources, and E is for education. So that kind of says it all right there about what we're here today to talk about. We're partnering with Vantive, which is a healthcare company. Initially, it was called Baxter, and now it's Vantive. So what we want to focus on today is understanding kidney disease and understanding the complications of it. We want you to be as healthy as possible. We want to impact our communities, and we want to create transformational change. And we feel the best way to do that is through education. So today you're going to learn about your kidney, you're going to learn about how your kidney functions, and you're going to learn about what can help your kidney to do a better job for you. I am a radiologist, and I look at the kidneys through ultrasound. And I can see over time that kidneys can change. And they can go from that normal size of 12 centimeters or so, 10 to 12, depending upon your age, to getting smaller and smaller in size as you develop renal disease. You lose that cortex. And you're going to hear about the parts of the kidney and how the kidney works. But that cortex is basically where everything happens, where you filter your blood and you clean your blood, and then it comes out as urine excreted in the kidney. So you want to really do the things to protect the cortex of your kidney. And over time, it can not only thin, but it can also increase in echogenicity, or increase in how bright it is on ultrasound. And those are all signs of renal disease. And then you have other things that contribute to that renal disease, and that would be diabetes, as you've heard about, hypertension, as you've heard about. So what we want to do is understand how to have better health, how to have great health as long as we can have it, with exercise, with eating the right foods, and taking our medicines if we need to do that. So we've got a wonderful program planned for you today, and I will let the rest of our leaders continue with that. And I thank you. It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Doctors Karen and Lisa. Thank you to my chapter president, Zena. Dr. Lisa has some words.
Yes, thank you, don't leave, okay? No, before we proceed forward, it's always important to give thank you to people that are making this happen, and I was remiss of not doing that introduction to our partners. I'd like you to draw attention to your program, that you will see that Kaiser Permanente is responsible for contributing to this program, Prospect Medical Group, who donated $2,500, UCLA Kidney Disease Screening and Awareness Program, and those are the wonderful young people in the back that are here to do your kidney screening, all right? I'm so excited because I'm a Bruin over there, along with UCLA Health, and they all are going to be responsible for helping us to usher through this program this morning, as well as the information in your gift bags. And that's all I had, Tanya. Okay, thank you.
Thank you again to our sponsors. That's so generous of all of you. Thank you, young people in the back. This is only the first of many, many Saturdays where you will be working, but this is going to be far more fun than some of those other ones that you're going to have. So thank you for being here and pitching in. I am right now listening to this book about the brain, and one of the things that the author really focuses on is that you have to move. Like, actually, exercise makes you smarter. It really does. Like, you think differently, you think more broadly, and I think that for a lot of us, the challenge is, how do you do it? You don't have time. I'm not in shape enough to work out. I can't go to this gym. So we have the answer to all of that. This is the third year in a row that I have seen this genius in action. And before, I don't see her. I mean, I don't see her. I've seen her, but I don't see her presently. Oh my God, right in front of me. Oh, I'm sorry. I want to get you a different colored hat. Sorry, I was tuning that out. I'm joking. I am so foolish. But she really is a genius, and I think one of the things that's so magnificent about her is that she will show you and she will remind all of us that moving our bodies is not as complicated as sometimes it's made out to be. And moving our bodies is key to us staying in shape and doing the work every day in our families, our communities, and our world that we need to do. So ignore what I said about the hat. I think she is phenomenal. For the third year in a row, I would like to welcome to the stage Antonia Rout. Do you want the mic? Can you hear me in the back? Okay. I won't use it. But if you can hear me, I don't need it. So I'd like to say first, good morning. Good morning. And I'm glad to see you. The next thing I want to say is that it's truly a privilege to be here to share exercise with you and to have been invited back again. It's really special. So if you are seated with your legs under the table, it would be great if you would scoot back or turn your chairs like this gentleman is facing this way. So you'll have the opportunity to move your legs and not hit your feet. Okay? Everybody just about ready? You want me to have mine?
Yeah, we need so we can ready.
All right. Okay, so if this one was turned on, I just moved it here. Is that okay? Yeah. That would work? So that, I don't think so. So if it's here, there it is. Okay. And I'll move back. Can I get you, oh, the bands. Are they in the back? Yeah. Okay. So, in your bag, Okay, so here we are. I want you to sit tall and move back into your chair. Okay? We're going to start with some slow movements, okay? Ready? So here we are. We're going to place our hands here. We're going to, excuse me, I just want to say, last year someone said, oh, could you slow down? So if I'm going too fast later, just let me know, okay? So here we are. Our hands are here. Please be mindful if you have a shoulder issue, then don't go the full range of the movement. Okay, your hands are going to go up slowly, above your head, and continue. Move your chest forward, reach with your fingertips toward the ceiling, and press your chest forward. And then you should have a total stretch. Now, bring your hands down slowly. Okay, now, before we move, we're going to inhale. And when we move our hands up, exhale. Now inhale. And exhale. Okay. No, okay. Now my mic people are always telling you you're too loud. Here's an instance where I'm not loud enough. Okay, is that better or is it the same? Sounds the same. Okay, all right, there we go. So I'm going to move a little bit. So when you move, bring your hands down slowly, and you're going to move your hands forward because of the chairs. When you move your hands back, be mindful not to hit your elbows. So move forward. Okay, here we go. So we're going to go up. We're going to come down. Next time you go up, you're going to take one knee. Feet are in front. Put them apart, please. And here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Change. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now alternate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay. Are we warmed up? Are we warmed up? Okay, so next, we're going to put our hands here, make a soft fist, please. A little more of the same thing with a twist. So you're going to move your hands forward and bring your knee up. And then you bring your hands back, put your foot down. Are we ready? Okay, here we go. Change legs, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Change. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now alternate. 1, up, 2, up, 3, up, 4, up, 5, up, and 6, up, and stop. Okay. Now, just before we get to the bands, we're going to do 2 more things, okay? So the one we're going to do next, how do you feel? Good. Okay. Okay. All right, so a lot of you aren't talking to me. I get that a lot after exercise. Okay, so we're going to go up with one leg and our hands out with the other leg. So it looks like this, up and out. Okay, all right. Please don't turn your wrist in. Yes, just take them straight out. Okay. So I'm never talking to you because the person I'm talking to always knows I'm talking to them. Okay, so are we ready? Here we go. Up and out. Up and out. 2, up and out. Up and out. 4, up and out. Up and out. Up and out, and stop. Okay, all right? So
Are we ready? Yes. Okay. So get your band, please. Now, if your band seems long, just give it some slack on either side. Okay? So when you've got a band and you just place it in your hands, this is one level of resistance. Okay? So what we're going to do is fold it in half. So you can have more resistance. Okay? And again, give it some slack. Okay? So what we're going to do is reach up slowly, right? And come down slowly. Fold it in half, 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 half. Today, today, today. Got it. Okay. So now, you know what's important? As important as exercise is, so is laughter. It is the best 1 and 2 medicine in the world. And that's why I make you feel goofy so you can laugh. Okay, so are we ready? Here we go. We're going to do what we've done, but with the band. So your hands aren't going up empty. Here we go. Ready, sit tall. Okay, and bring those hands down. Excuse me. Just move your chair back a little bit. Your hands are up. Move your chair back a bit, and you'll have a straight shot to see me. Okay, here we go. All right. So, sit and lift. 1, 2. Pull the band as you go up and down. Pull it out. You'll work your arms. 4, 5, 6. Change. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And stop. And roll your shoulders. 1, 2, 3. So if your hand's here and you pull, you feel it in your shoulders? Okay, so stretch it and roll. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And stopped. You feel it here? You feel it here? You feel it here? Yes, that's the idea. Okay, so now what we're going to do, we're going to fold it in half again. I see you're excited. Oh, wow. So now you have this much. Okay, you're not going to pull it with as much effort. You're just going to hold it, and then you're going to reach forward as far as you can from the hip, keeping your head up. And then pull your abs in and come back. Okay, keeping the arms straight. Go out. 1, come back. 2, come back. 3, come back. 4, come back. Now stop. Now pull it with both hands. Okay, sit tall. And what we're going to do is bring our knee up. We're going to move it, and we're going to put it down. We're going to bring it up again and bring it in. And go out again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Change. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Stop. Now go. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and stop. Okay? Now, with it here, you can also go up and down. So sit tall, pull the band, and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and stop. Okay, so my question is, are you working hard or hardly working? Okay. Okay, so let me show you something else you can do. You can hold the band, take your hands above your head, pull the band, put your feet far apart. Okay, if you have vertigo, don't move. But if you don't have vertigo, pull this hand to come over. Okay, You feel that stretch? Now pull the other hand to bring yourself up. Stop. Now pull this hand to take yourself over. And then pull this hand to bring yourself up and come down. Did you feel that? I'm sorry, I was just kidding. I know you felt it. Okay, so now your hands are here. Pull the band. And what we're going to do is take one foot out and put the other foot back. Okay? And then you're going to move. Change feet. It's a lift. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So listen, good people. Although exercise is important, you know, there's a limit on how long I can be up here. And I need a signal. Are we cutting it here? Or you have 5 more minutes? Oh, you guys in trouble. Okay, so let me show you a way to work your leg. Especially, excuse me. Thank you. Okay. So we're going to work the back of your leg. Okay? And the way we're going to do it is to unfold it 1 time. Okay? And then we're going to unfold it again to the length of it. Okay? So you control the tension by the placement of your hands. So what you're going to do is lean back in your chair from wherever you are and bring your foot up, come forward and put it under your foot. Okay? Now if you have it here, see that? Now what you're going to do is pull. When you pull your arms back and it's under your leg, you're working your arms. Okay? So you pull, and you pull, and you pull. Now stop and change. Okay? And then what you're going to do is pull, okay? And pull, and you'll work the back of your arms, your triceps, and the top of your arm, your deltoids, and the front of your arm, your biceps. She looked at me and she said, I've had enough. Oh, and she knew who I was talking about. So let me tell you, then if you fold it in half again and place the middle under your foot again, and then come up, okay? Then what you're going to do, bend your knee, please. Bend your knee. Fold it in half, and fold it in half again, okay? And then what you're going to do is bring your knee up, and you're going to pull it, and you're going to push your foot out, and bring it back. Hold your elbows out, and push. And then you feel it in your shoulders and the back of your leg. But when you extend your leg, gorgeous, do not do it 100%. Keep the knee bent. Slightly. Okay, now let's stop and change. Okay, other leg. Okay, so you're going to pull your arms back. Now push the foot and bring it back. Keep your arms still because you're working your legs, and you're not going to, what? Straighten the leg 100%. Okay? All right, now relax. And what you can do, she said, someone over here is laughing. Every time I say what you can do, they start laughing. And I know that means please, no more. So when you have it like this, okay, you can put your arms out, sit tall, pull the rope, stretch the band out, put your feet apart so you're stable. And then you're going to pull this hand, and this hand's going to follow. And then that way you'll have tension all the way around, okay? And then you pull this way. And as you pull and you rotate, you will feel it, okay? In your waistline, okay? All right, how are we doing? Great. Do you feel a little warm? Yes. Okay. So this is what I want to tell you. When you exercise, it's really important that you drink. You consume water, because when you are moist, you're losing moisture from your body and you need to replace it. Okay? So here's what I want you to take away. Particularly those of us who are slightly beyond, I said slightly beyond the middle of things. Okay. See how I did that? Okay, so you want to practice sitting tall. So straighten yourselves out. Push your chest out, pull your shoulders back. Now your back is flat. Relax your shoulders, please. Thank you. Okay, now, when you practice sitting tall, then you will stand tall. When you stand tall, you will walk tall. And when you walk tall, you reduce your risk of falls. Get it? Sit, stand, walk, tall. It's really essential. It's very important that you lift your feet when you walk. As we mature, you know what I mean? As we mature, we slow down. Then we shuffle. Then we drag our feet. And then we meet an uneven surface and we fall. Okay? All right. And if you put your hands out, the momentum of your body is going to keep going and you're going to break something. You're going to break something here. When you fall, you may break this, you may break that. Finally, as we mature, you know what I'm talking about? When you break a major bone, you increase your risk of a massive heart attack, which most women don't survive. Okay? It's the #1 cause of death in all of us, but more in women than men. So, there's not more time, so I can't put my hands on you any longer, but I had fun. Okay, I had fun, and thank you for your participation. Okay, now, does anyone have any questions?
Do you count classes?
Yes. Okay.
Would you mind sharing with the audience how many marathons you've run, or how many continents, and what decade, I would say, of life you're in?
Oh! Well, let's start with the last question. I'm soon to enter another decade. Okay, so I have completed 18 marathons. And I've completed 45 half marathons. Half marathon is 13.1, the full marathon is
26.2.
And I've just recently, like a week ago Sunday, completed running on all 7 continents. And what I want to say is that you're far stronger than you think, either in your mind or in your body. And I started my first marathon with the LA Marathon, and I've done 5. I did the majors, the Avid World Marathon Majors, which is New York, Boston, Chicago, Tokyo, Berlin, and London. And then after doing those, I went to New Zealand to do a marathon, and I went to Cuba to run, and I went to Athens to do the marathon because it's the original marathon. So I'd like to say I'm really glad to be here today, and I'm glad I can move. Okay? Because after I got to go, 6 days later, I did something called 12K, which is 8 miles, but it was 8 miles up and through a forest, and then across the top of a mountain, and then back down. So that was, each one was harder than the other. So thank you, and I will be honest. I'm 69. Wow. I'll be 70 in October.
Did I lie when I said she was a genius? I think that it's important to remember that the conversation started, our time with Antonia started with us working out in chairs and ended with her telling us that we can all do more than we want to do. And meanwhile, she ran 26.2 miles on every continent on this globe. So the span of our abilities is broad. Thank you again, Antonia. So just like working out and moving our bodies doesn't need to be complicated, eating clean doesn't need to be complicated. And it also doesn't need to be as expensive. The $25 strawberry that maybe you saw go viral on social is both obscene and true, but you can actually eat well without doing all of that. Sometimes I'm really struck by how much easier it is to drive down the street and find a hamburger pizza sandwich wrapped in a donut than it is to get a salad that is nutritious and clean and good for our bodies and good for our families. And that's why these next two gentlemen are so important. Not only do they have their own company, NatureAid, which products can be found on Amazon and Costco, and the product that they are going to demonstrate is exclusively available at Costco. Go to Costco.com. They will tell you more about it. It's just Kareem. Thank you for the note. But I do now want to introduce and welcome the owner of an incredible business. Business is key to our community. Supporting our businesses is key to our communities thriving. And when that business does more to help us thrive, it's all the more deserving of our support. Please join me in welcoming Kareem Cook of NatureAid.
Thank you. Again, my name is Kareem Cook. I own a company called NatureAid. My wife is Rahel Cook in the back. She was inducted into the Links May of last year, which meant that I became a connecting link May of last year. I'll give you a brief history of who I am and what we've done. My business partner is actually Claude Tellis. We moved out here in 2002. And being from the East Coast, we have this pre-existing idea of California that it's like Baywatch, like what you see on TV. We got out here, we realized that there was a 40%. First of all, we looked at all the kids, and we could see that there were a lot of overweight kids, which was odd to us. And then we read about it, and there was a 40% child obesity crisis out here. And we looked at each other and we said, you know what, some smart business people would probably do something about this. What if we put healthy vending machines in the schools? We wrote a business plan, and within 2 weeks, we approached the bank, got a small business loan, and we cold called the president of the YMCAs and got a meeting. And at that meeting, we were like, hey man, you got soda machines in your lobby, you're trying to kill these kids, what's up with that? And we walked out of there with the contract for 26 YMCAs. But we had no business, and we had to figure one out. So we quickly bought a renovated 14-foot U-Haul truck, painted white, and that was the vehicle. We ran the same gameplay for Venice High School within a few months, and the same thing. So within the first year, we ended up getting 6 high schools and middle schools, 26 YMCAs, and that was our business. We were straight entrepreneurs. I was living in the office. And then the funny thing happened. We got approached by a vice president of Coca-Cola, called us and said she wanted to meet with us. We took that meeting, and she said, listen, you've been taking our contracts. We're going to destroy your company if you don't stop doing what you're doing. So we were sitting there, both of us went to Duke University. And I'm from the Bronx, New York. And we were sitting there with suits and ties, and I said, listen, I know you're confused by the suit and the tie, And, I'm speaking the King's English right now, but I'm gonna tell you something right now. You ain't taking. So we walked out of there, called Pepsi, and we said, look, Coke has about 80% of the schools out here. They said they're gonna destroy our company. Would you support us? We will sell your healthy stuff, your water, your juice. And they said the enemy of our enemy is our friend. So every school that we ended up getting, they ended up sending 10 to 20 vending machines. Coke called us and saw that, and they were like, hey, we'll do the same thing. So we said, all right, if you guys play nice. And so we were in business with Coke, Pepsi, and a bunch of New York companies that are big now but small then. Silk Soy Milk Synthesis Machines, a company called Very Fine Apple Juice created a vending machine program for us. And then we were nervous because we were literally in bed with a company that said they were going to destroy us, and we were concerned about what was going to happen next. So we went and saw Phil Angelides, who at the time was the state treasurer. And as you recall, he ran against Arnold Schwarzenegger for governor. We went and saw him, told us what we were trying to do. We were trying to make kids healthy in LA. And we knew that he would care because he had this thing called he had this mandate called, it was the double bottom line. So what you may or may not realize is the state treasurer is really the most, of California in particular, is the most powerful financial person in the country. It's because they're lording over CalPERS and CalSTRS, which are about $300, $400 billion funds. All the banks on Wall Street get their money, but he mandated you have to be doing something for the community in order to get some of California's money. So what he then did was introduce us some state assemblymen. We lobbied the school board with some teachers, and we ended up getting a law change banning junk food in all of LA. And then we ended up bidding on the contract a year later, and within 2 years of being here, we had every single public high school, middle school in Los Angeles, every YMCA. And right now in the state of California, you can't buy junk food, soda, in a public school between the hours of 8 and 4, and that was based on what my business partner and I did in the first 10 months being in LA. So eventually, we decided, look, we want to do something bigger, maybe have a national or global impact. So in 2012, we raised some money, and we ended up buying this company called NatureAid. And the whole purpose of NatureAid is we wanted to do something about the diet-related illnesses epidemic that we see in our community. Both my business partner and I come from large families, and what that means in the black community is if you live long enough, you'll have the honor of dying from cancer or diabetes or kidney disease or some sort of diet-related illness that you didn't foresee, or you may have foresaw, but it's just in our community, it's just what happens, right? And we just kind of accept that. And my business partner and I was like, well, why do we accept that? Why don't we try to change the paradigm? Why don't we try to change the way we, the way we think and the way we eat and the way we live, and make an impact? So we bought this company, and what happened was we had 2 friends who had reversed type 2 diabetes by going vegan. We didn't know that was possible. I had never heard of that. But 2 of them did that. And we realized, well, look, most people are not going to go vegan. That's just 4% of the population can do that. But if we try to get people as close to it as possible and eat healthy, then you don't have to get to the end point. You can just, as close as you can get to it, you'll be healthy. And so we came out with a bunch of plant-based products. And we know that if we're selling to people who enjoy, an egg biscuit in the morning and some grape soda, that it better taste good. So we made sure our products taste good. We ended up getting national distribution. We ended up we had a chance meeting with the CEO of Costco, and at that meeting we told them that they practice institutional racism, we call it institutional bias, which embarrassed him because at that meeting I had Grant Hill and Magic Johnson with me. He said, how do you do that? How are we doing that? And I said, well, You have a mandate that you don't want to be more than 20% of a company's business. If the average company in every store in Costco and on .com and across the world is doing 50 million, how many black-owned companies you know are doing 20% of that, you know, such that they can qualify to be in Costco? Zero. You'll never have a black-owned company in Costco. And he said, you know what? I didn't realize that, and thank you for showing me that. We're going to give you some stores, and we're going to give you an opportunity. And so right now, we're in Costco. We're in Costco.com. We're in select stores. I won't even tell you the 5 stores, but the best way to get to us at Costco is to go to Costco.com. And what we have here today is actually the product that's in Costco, and we have some other products to show you. And the one that Denver, my brand manager, and Denver's actually a friend of mine. He's like a brother, really. We've known each other over 30 years. And what we're doing here is we're gonna give you some shakes, and basically we're gonna show you how you can make this, and at the cost of about $1.90 a meal, right? So we were talking about how you can go and get your diabetes burger for $10. Well, you can have a healthy shake for $1.80. And so Denver's gonna demonstrate on the blender, but I'm just gonna tell you how you make a single serve. Basically, 9 to 12 ounces of water, or what we're doing here is oat milk, because it makes it a little creamier. 2 scoops of the product, and a half a cup of strawberries and blueberries. And so we call that the classic. I don't know why we call it that, but we do. And so we're gonna make some here, and we're gonna let you try it. So thank you for your support, and support us at Costco. We're one of 2 black-owned companies at Costco, and so Costco gets to say that they're continuing their DEI program because they got 2 black-owned companies there.
All right, everyone, can you hear me okay? All right, great. So normally, when you're just doing this by yourself for yourself with 1 serving, you can use a blender shaker bottle. As Kareem said, just some water. You don't need a blender actually to, unless you're going to be adding in, a lot of extra stuff, which a lot of people like to do. So today, just to show you what's going on here, we added the oat milk already in there. This is a bigger batch I'm making because we're making it for all of you guys. It's going to be a little less scientific than the former, right? But about 32 ounces of oat milk, or whatever kind of alternative milk you're going to use. Then about a few cups of ice, because of course shakes always taste better cold. And then we're going to, under normal circumstances, you add in 2 scoops, which is going to give you all of the values that are listed on the packaging. All right, which is, by the way, 25 grams of protein per serving, which is pretty good, obviously, right? This actually acts as a whole meal, so you're getting a nice mix of your carbs, protein, and fats to replicate that meal. So you've got your powder in there. Now we're going to use about a half a cup normally of strawberries for your personal shake. And the same for your blueberries. Now, of course, you can people add spinach, they add kale, flaxseed to give them more, omega. So all of those things you can add to it. There's no limitation on what you can do to make this more of a healthy meal for yourself, right? And then, of course, blend it all up. It takes a few seconds depending on how and basically that's it. And then of course we've already back in the kitchen there set up a couple here for you so we can start. I don't know if you're going to come up and we're going to start pouring and bring them.
Some people are going to help pass them out, but I was going to also say, so the product has 25 grams of protein. There's 6 grams of dietary fiber. There's omega. There's omegas, and a whole food complex. So it's a complete meal, right? And I mentioned the 25 grams because a lot of people are on the Ozempic plan, right? And there are 100 million people who are on Ozempic. Not going to cast any aspersions against them, but I will say that these pharmaceutical ways of increasing GLP-1, what they're doing is they actually deplete your muscle. So they deplete your muscle, and you lose muscle and you lose fat, but you lose muscle, and that's incredibly important. That's incredibly negative thing about those things. So what we have is a way to lose weight, and you gain muscle, 25 grams of protein. Sure.
Yes, I'd like to know how many grams of sugar and sodium.
So there's about 4 grams of sugar, and it's a little high on sodium, about 500, I will say that. It's a little high on sodium because we use pea protein as our main plant-based option, and that naturally has some naturally occurring sodium in it. Yes? Yes, so it replaces the entire meal. And there's CLA in it, which is a natural appetite suppressant. And yeah, so it's a meal replacement, all-in-one nutritional shake. Any other questions? Yeah.
So do you need to be, if you have any kidney issues, do you need to be concerned? Do you need to discuss it with your provider, or this is?
No, this is good. This is kidney friendly, right? So there's also chromate in it, chromium for blood glucose control. And as you know, high blood pressure and diabetes are the leading causes of kidney disease. In fact, 2 out of 3 instances of kidney disease is because of high blood pressure and diabetes. So they're very related.
I can see this benefiting me because my A1C was 7.8, and my doctor, the next step was gonna be medicine.
Yeah.
But because I did a diet change, and not as well as this is gonna help, and weight loss, got it down 1 point.
Nice.
So I'm at 6.8, but I wanted to go further.
Good. Okay. Congratulations. – 500 milligrams. Yeah. Yeah, it's a little high, but like I said, it's the naturally occurring, it's the peas that is naturally occurring in it.
enjoying these delicious smoothies. This is delicious. Go to Costco.com. And in the meantime, if I can have your attention, please. If I could have your attention, please. Thank you. I would like to welcome once again Antonia Rout, who has a special announcement for all of us. And really, these smoothies are delicious. Thank you, Nature Aid. Please welcome Antonia back to the mic.
Thank you. I was asked to inform you about where classes are held in the event that you would be interested for yourself or a friend or a neighbor or a loved one. So on Tuesday and Thursday at 7 a.m., there, okay, calm down. Okay, put the guns down, okay? Okay, I was trying to be informative. Okay, so Tuesday through Thursday, there's a class at 7 a.m. It's a water class at Celeste King III Pool. It's called aquatic aerobics, not aerobics, excuse me, aquatic mobility, okay? Although the person who does it on Friday, it's more aerobic, okay? Next, there is a class at 10:35 on Tuesday, Thursday at Jim Gillian Park, okay? There is a class on Wednesdays at 12 at Willowbrook Senior Center. Okay, that's on Jarvis, and it's right off of El Segundo. Then there is a class at Adventist White Memorial Boyle Heights on Thursdays at 9. There's another class at Adventist White Memorial in Montebello at 3 p.m. on Thursday, and currently those are the classes. There was a class on Mondays at the YWCA on Vernon, but that class is being rescheduled. Okay, but there's one class there, and that's an AB class, and it's primarily targeting your midsection. Okay, thank you for your attention. The first class is at 7 a.m. Tuesday through Thursday at Celeste King III Aquatic Center, and that's the pool that's right next to the tennis courts at Rancho Cienega Sports Complex. Okay, did everyone get the information? Yes? No, I did those classes during COVID online, and then they resumed in person, but then Macy's closed, and there went Oasis Baldwin Hills. Okay. Tuesday, Thursday, 10:35 a.m. Okay, everyone? Okay, thank you.
Thank you again, Antonia. So next up, another treat. Excuse me. Laura Leitner. Oh, yes, ma'am. Question? Oh, excellent. Excellent point, sis. What was your name, please? Camille just reminded all of us that if you go on YouTube, there are a plethora of chair classes and low-impact workouts where folks can demonstrate, or where folks can see demonstrations of how to do precisely the types of fun things that Antonia led us through just a few moments ago. Thank you for that note, Camille. Next is another treat. because here we are having fun, we are educating ourselves, and we're learning how to better take care of ourselves and our bodies and be armed with the information that we need. Laura Leitner of the Los Angeles chapter of the Links is here, and she is going to talk to you about the pre-test and the steps you can take and how we can use this information to keep our bodies as healthy as possible. Welcome, Laura.
Thank you. Okay, I want you guys to view this as a treat. I didn't think I was going to be described as a treat, but I love it if we can view this as a treat. This is the time, I was going to call it time to pay to the piper now. Everybody has been given a buff-colored sheet, and it says pre-test. I do not want you to be intimidated by this. This is our baseline measure of how much knowledge we have about what we're going to learn after I finish talking to you and after we pick up the pre-test. So if you know no answers, that's absolutely fine. Do not worry about it. This is what we're going to teach you about today. So please fill this out and don't spend too much time on it. If you're not familiar with the terminology, we're going to teach you about the terminology. But this is what helps us show our national links that we went into a situation, this is what people knew going in, and then you're going to take this exact same test on a different color piece of paper and see if you've learned something else at the end of this, okay? So you can pull this piece of paper out now. We're going to collect it before the speakers come up. I see a hand raised.
Yes, they don't have the sheets.
Okay. The people in the back, raise your hands if you do not have a packet with a blue, white, and buff-colored sheet of paper. Raise it high because somebody will bring you all 3 sheets of paper. The other 2 sheets of paper that come in this little packet that we either gave you when you registered or we're giving to you now are a demographics form that we would really appreciate your filling out. It's anonymous, but it helps us demonstrate who we've served in our workshop. And then before you leave, we hope you are able to stay for the whole time, but we recognize a lot of people can't stay the whole time. Please fill out an evaluation form, that's this white piece of paper, to let us know how we can improve, or whether you feel like you learned something, and whether you feel like you might like to learn something else. Okay, are there any more questions? Okay. I think there are no questions. That's good. Well then, everybody work on the buff sheet right now, and individuals will come around to the tables to make sure that you've completed it, and then we will pick them up and we can continue on with our show.
Thank you, Laurel.
Thank you.
So she was a treat, and next we have yet another treat, and this is where you're actually going to have the opportunity to win some fun and fabulous prizes. So Lisa, are you still passing things out? Okay, so we have a couple more minutes. Does anybody have any questions about the program? Is there anything, if you look on the tables, you should have some index cards. Use those index cards to write questions for our speakers that you'll hear about later. We have a fantastic gift bag that has been assembled and presented to us by the Los Angeles chapter of the Links. Thank you again, Los Angeles chapter. Have you guys looked in the bags? First, the bags themselves are phenomenal, but inside the bags are a variety of very special goodies. Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. Claudia Spears wanted me to remind you of what Black KARE stands for. Black, for most of us, of course. KARE, Kidney Awareness, Resources, and Education. kidney awareness, resources, and education, which is what today is all about. Very shortly, I'm going to introduce another special healthcare provider who's going to introduce this incredible panel we have. And the panel is going to be particularly exciting because you're going to learn both more about how we can advocate for ourselves. I said that at the outset. No one really is going to look out for us sometimes but us. We have to be the first line of defense for ourselves and our communities. We're going to hear about people who've had really incredible health outcomes and how those outcomes came to pass. And we're also going to learn about how our body really functions as a holistic entity. So when we're talking about things like kidney health, we also have to keep in mind things like oral health. Really, our bodies are some pretty magnificent machines. I'd also encourage people, as you're thinking about questions, there is nothing that is, I mean, I'm just going to go out on a limb. I think that everybody here is prepared to share the best information that they can, and we're all learning something. I, for instance, didn't know until Antonia mentioned it, that that in certain age categories, when you break a bone, you're at a higher risk of heart attack. I didn't know that before today, and I think that is the kind of information that's especially important for us and for people in our community, because as a lot of folks may know, sometimes when we show up at the doctor, especially as Black women, our conditions go undiagnosed, our heart attacks are not taken seriously, so it's really important for us to know what warning signs are and how we can better advocate for ourselves. And next up, very shortly, we will have, are we ready for the raffle? We're ready for the raffle. So here to conduct our raffle is my fellow member of the Beverly Hills, West California chapter, Lisa Grant, also an incredible healthcare worker. Welcome, Lisa.
Thank you. So I just wanted to, before we start, I wanted to give a proper introduction to our MC, our link sister, Tanya Acker. Tanya Acker is a civil litigator and former judge who has appeared on multiple TV court shows. She co-hosted the Emmy-nominated Hot Bench for seasons 1 through 8 and currently appears on Tribunal Justice. Acker's legal career includes work at the White House Counsel's Office, the Department of Justice, and private law firms. She also served as a judicial law clerk and temporary judge in the LA County Superior Court. She is a proud graduate of Howard University, and proud graduate of Howard University, and also a graduate of Yale Law School. So I just wanted to provide a few facts about our wonderful MC, Tanya Acker. So now let's get our raffle started. So our link sister Laurel is going to pull us a ticket. So some of you who were here last year know that we start low and then we go high. So we're starting at gift certificates right now that are at $25, and we're going to work all the way up. So you got a ticket at registration? Yes. Okay, I'm going to read the first number. Oh.
Okay, we'll get, no, we can get it. Is there somebody back at the desk who can bring a raffle ticket up here?
And we have a lot of raffles through the whole day.
We will get you one.
So our first number we have is 239-6211. 239-6211.
Raise your hand and I'll bring you your gift certificate.
No one? Okay. Well, moving on. So our next ticket is, let me see what these first, so it looks like the first numbers are all 2396, so I'm going to call the last three numbers 216. Raffle number 216.
Make a noise.
No. 23, oh, the first number was 2396211. And the next ticket is 21.
Did she win? She's got it?
Okay. All right, so we have $25 gift certificate for Ralph's. So I'm pulling on. Get those tickets. The next number is 229. All right, 229, we have another $25 gift certificate for Ralph's. So I'm going to do a couple more so we can keep on moving. We still have a lot to give away. And the next one we have is 212. 212. Going once, twice, 212. Uh-oh, we just got some new ones added in there. Okay, so I put that one to the side. We have our next one is 238. 238. All right, we have another 25 gift certificate for Ralph's. Let's do one more. Did somebody say 212? All right, I have that for you. That's $25 to Ralph's. Okay, I'm gonna do one more. And we have 220. 220, all right. So we have another gift certificate for Ralph's. So just so you know, stay around because the prizes get bigger as we keep going. So if you're here towards the end of the day, it'll be in higher increments than $25.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
220, raise your hand.
Thank you, Lisa. Congratulations, winners. With those Ralph's gift certificates, you can buy some of the produce that you can put in your Nature 8 smoothie. See, we are all about the one-stop shopping. Dr. Cheryl, are we, well, so I started to talk a little bit about the panel from whom you're going to hear shortly, and please don't forget to start writing and making note of your questions for the panel. But here to introduce this panel is someone who's really special. Dr. Cheryl Rue is an LA native, a graduate of Xavier University and UCLA Med School. Once again, shout out to UCLA. Thank you, young people in the back. See, when you all come of age, you can be as incredible as the next person who's about to come take the mic from me. She has a thriving private practice. She's a member of Cedars-Sinai Medical Center. She has a passion for cardiovascular health and health and wellness, and she also has a passion for travel. And if I had to describe Dr. Cheryl, I would say she knows how to live her best life and knows also a lot about how, if you want to live your best life, you have to try to have the best body and the best health that you can. She is a fellow member of the Beverly Hills West chapter, California of the Lynx, Beverly Hills West, California chapter of the Lynx. She's also our immediate past president of that chapter. She is a dear friend, and she is going to talk to you a little bit about some of the incredible folks you're going to hear from next. Please welcome Dr. Cheryl Rue.
Thank you, Tanya. All right, how's everyone doing this morning? It's still morning. I am so impressed with the speakers thus far. Our exercise person, our protein shake person, entrepreneur. You know why? In addition to all their gifted skills, but they were on time with information. They were absolutely correct. I mean, to hear about, picking up your feet to walk, to hear about everyone can exercise every day, to hear about, how important protein is in our diet. Right now we're on this, people are losing muscle mass because we're not taking in enough protein. And I mean, they're incredible. So I think that when we come together in forums like this, we learn. right? And we learn accurate information. And so to have that information in our community, I think is a blessing. And so thank you. Thank you for, spreading the real truth and the good word. I am also the Western Area Chair for Black KARE, and so what that means is this grant that you heard about earlier that we received from Vantive. I am over our 11 chapters in the area who are all doing very similar things to bring about kidney awareness, research, and education. So it is definitely a passion and it's part of my heart. As a physician, I love educating people, right? So I do this every day in a small little tiny room with one person, but to have a whole room full at one time, this is exciting, and my heart is going. I have to take off my hat because I'm also a hot person, and so I had to cool it down a little bit. So you have a wonderful panel today. I'm going to introduce our panel first, and I'd like them to come up. Dr. Larry Strand, Dr. Suzanne Nicholas, and also our donors, Tracy and Vanetta. If you can please come up and have a seat on the stage. While they're coming up, I'm going to read their bios first. Dr. Larry Strand is a board-certified dentist with over 35 years of experience providing comprehensive dental care to patients of all ages and backgrounds. He is also a member of Holman United Methodist Church. So thank you. After earning his bachelor's degree from Morehouse College and a doctorate of dental surgery degree from Howard University of Dentistry, I was waiting for the Howard people to say something, right? Okay, all right. Dr. Strom served in an apprenticeship in Sacramento before returning home to Southern California to establish his dental practice in Inglewood, where he has served the community since 1990. Dr. Strand is invested in developing the next generation of dentists, regularly mentoring and providing clinical exposure to aspiring dental students, and currently serving on the board of the Western Los Angeles Dental Society and Watts Healthcare Fellowship Program. Outside of dentistry, Dr. Strand is involved in Holman United Methodist Church and Morehouse College Alumni Association. He enjoys walking, listening to music, watching all genres of dance and art, and spending time with his wife and 2 children. His wife, who also is a physician and a graduate of Xavier University, I just throw that in. There. We also have today Dr. Suzanne Nicholas. Dr. Nicholas is tenured professor of medicine at the David Geffen School of Medicine at UCLA in the divisions of nephrology, general internal medicine, endocrinology, diabetes, and metabolism. There you go. She received her MD degree from the University of California, San Diego, her MPH from San Diego State University, and a PhD from UCLA as a scientific training and advanced research program graduate. She is involved in NIH-funded translational research to prevent the development and progression of diabetic kidney disease. Her studies involve the development of novel therapies and the identification of risk factors that contribute to the progression of diabetic kidney disease, particularly in racial and ethnic minority populations. Her awards include the National Kidney Foundation Medical Advisory Board Distinguished Service Award, the Minority Access, the National Role Model Faculty Research Award, and the University of California Drug Discovery Consortium. Dr. Nicholas has been a grant reviewer for several NIH private organizations, chairs an NIH study section, and serves on the editorial board of the American Journal of Diseases and is associate editor of the Journal of American Society of Nephrology. Dr. Nicholas is the president of Women in Nephrology. Thank you. She is somebody. And we have today our donor, kidney donor, and a kidney renal transplant recipient. We have Tracy. Tracy's family history includes high blood pressure, kidney disease, diabetes, and cancer. He grew up eating everything under the sun. So why change from living an unhealthy lifestyle to becoming a kidney donor? Well, for Tracy, it was for two simple reasons. First, a kidney was needed, and it happened to be for his wife. Second, he wanted to prove that African Americans, especially men, could make lifestyle changes to be donors. Therefore, he began exploring lifestyle changes to meet the criteria to become a kidney donor. He did this by changing eating habits and exercising. Tracy retired at the age of 55 in 2022, following his recovery from kidney donation in September 2022. He resumed normal activities including walking, hiking, yard work, and traveling. He continues serving in the community and is an active participant in his church. Vernita was diagnosed with polycystic kidney disease in '91. PKD is a hereditary disease causing kidney cysts, which can lead to kidney failure. While the disease affects all races and ethnicities, data suggests that African Americans suffer worse outcomes. There's no known cure for PKD. At the advice of her nephrologist, she adopted a low sodium, most plant-based diet to slow the progression of her disease. And in 2022, her husband donated a kidney as part of the paired exchange process, which moved her to the top of the transplant list. On February 14th, 2023, a kidney was donated from a Minnesota woman, 65-year-old stranger, who wanted to do something special for God. This Valentine's Day gift was a perfect match for Vernita, enabling her to avoid dialysis and have a better quality of life. Vernita's passion is to support persons in reaching their health goals. She does this on her monthly plant-based support group, Healthy Road. This is our panel. And thank you. I'm going to start off. I am an internist by nature. I am a primary care doctor. And for the most part, most of you will see me before you see any of our specialists here, right? So two things that we know primarily causes chronic kidney disease. One is hypertension, and the other one, diabetes. Right? Those are the two major causes. But we know there's some other things. There are drugs that affect our kidneys. There's genetic and congenital diseases like PKD. But let's talk about the common ones, which is high blood pressure and diabetes. How many of you in this room have high blood pressure? You can raise your hand or not. How many of you in this room have diabetes? Well, you kind of go along with the statistics that the large majority of African Americans suffer from high blood pressure and diabetes, and a lot of that is multifactorial, but three of the things that we cannot change, which puts us at risk, and that is what? Age, right? So as we age, our ethnicity, the fact that we're black folks, right? And genetics. Right? So all of those we can't change, but we can work on the things that we can change, such as our diet, such as exercising. Today, many of you talked about, the amount of sodium that was in the protein drink, 500 milligrams. How much sodium are we supposed to have in one meal? 1,500 milligrams per day, right? Particularly in black folks. In other folks, they can actually have 2,400 milligrams, but you're right. But remember, that protein drink is a meal. That is one meal that should not be combined with other things, right? So it is important for us to monitor our salt intake or our sodium intake. Let's talk about what's a normal blood pressure. Anybody? 120 over 80. And what is high blood pressure? Anything above 135 over 85. So if more times than not your blood pressure is above 135 over 85, right, it's time for you to see a doctor. What about diabetes? Diabetes in and of itself causes problems with the small blood vessels that affect the kidneys, that affect your eyes, that affect your lower extremities. And so it's very important to keep it under control. Why? Because when it's not controlled, what does that do? That affects our kidneys in not such a good way. And unfortunately, once our kidneys get damaged, there's no good reversal for that, right? And so it is important for us to protect our kidneys now, every single day. So diet is one of those things. We just talked about the sodium. We have to talk about exercise. Activity is important. How many of you count your steps every day? All right, I need to see more hands than that. Because when people come to me and they say, oh yeah, I do some exercise, I'm a scientist, I'm a researcher, I need numbers. And so do you. You need to know how many steps you take, right? Because that qualifies it. That tells me that you're doing enough, right? Or you need to work on doing more. My mother is 84 years old. She walks at least 4,500 to 5,000 steps every day. Every day. She goes to the mall, she walks indoors so she's not outside, it's air conditioning, but that is a priority, and it has to be a priority for us. That is important. The chair yoga that we did today, how many could do that every day at their desk? Right? Now you have those green bands, we need to put them into use, right? We have to put them to use. Exercise is important, all right? So I am going to now, I forgot to introduce my timekeeper, Deron. Deveron, let me have you stand up because our panel needs to see our timekeeper here too. All right, so he's going to be using fingers, so you have 10 minutes each to talk, right? And so you can have a seat. And thank you for being here. This is our young people. He woke up this morning, he was getting out of the car, dragging, but now he's all pepped up. I see that. Had a little protein drink. All right, so our next speaker, I'm going to ask Dr. Strawn, who is going to tell us how important your dental care is for preventing cardiovascular disease.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for having me. I like the title when I go speak to audiences, Improve Your Health, Show Your Mouth Some Respect. Now, what we said, like R-E-S-P, respect, we gotta show our mouth some respect. What happens is, Dr. Rue just talked about some of the things that we have to do, exercise, diet, health. One of the contributing factors to heart disease, high blood pressure, and diabetes is inflammation. One of the main areas of inflammation is our mouth. Our mouth harbors the most bacteria in our body next to our gut, okay? Some of it good, a lot of it bad. And the reason I say show your oral health some respect is think about how much time we don't take brushing our teeth. How many times are we supposed to brush our teeth every day? At least twice. Notice I said at least twice. And one of the things I say is, when you go out and throughout the day, how many times do you wash your hands? Lots of times. Every time your hands get dirty. Think about how much we eat and don't brush our teeth. And we let everything sit there, and it sits there, and it festers. I know it sounds bad, and you all are getting ready to eat. But I've been doing this a lot of years now. I got to get the point across. Now, one of the things I wanted just to show you, as opposed to showing you pictures, I don't know if we can see it, but see this white plate with all this stuff on it? That's a plate that somebody's been eating off of and doesn't wash the plate. And over time, what happens? It gets builds up, it gets dirty, and it gets caked on. That's what's happening to our teeth. That's what's happening to our teeth. One of the times that people miss most is nighttime. Everybody brushes their teeth in the morning because they don't want the morning breath or things like that, which is fine. But nighttime is when that stuff builds up. We eat and we go sit on the couch and we stream. And then we go ready to go to bed and we're too tired to brush our teeth. Well, it adds up. The way dental health affects your kidney and heart health is that inflammation. That inflammation sets in, the arteries and arterioles get constricted, and it leads to high blood pressure or adds to one of the risk factors. So in addition to exercising and doing all these other things, we have to keep up with our oral health. Another thing as far as diabetes destroys teeth all the time. You know, when you used to go to the physician, in fact, when I went to Dr. Rue myself for my high blood pressure, I told her, I said, look, educate your patients on diabetes and oral health. We always hear about how, you know, people have to have their feet amputated or something happens with them or your eyes get bad. Diabetics lose their teeth at a rate 5 times the regular person. Because diabetes affects the bone that the teeth are held in. So I want everybody to think of their mouth as a part of the body. A lot of times we think of our mouth in isolation. We think, oh, it's just our teeth. Everything's connected. If anybody here has ever had to have a hip replacement, a knee replacement, or if you have to have a kidney replacement, one of the things that you have to do is you have to get your clearance from your dentist. And why is that? Because dental infections can lead to rejections of any type of transplant or bones or things like that, okay? So let's start treating our mouth with a little respect. Again, I like to use the example of, you know, how we bathe and stuff like that. You know, we'd all like to take a luxurious shower and, you know, 10, 20, 30 minutes, maybe even get in the bath. When it comes to brushing our teeth, it's the 22nd thing. And remember, we're trying to get off everything that's been there all day. A good rule of thumb when you're brushing your teeth, say the ABC song in your mind. Sing the national anthem or something. It should take at least 2 to 3 minutes while you're brushing. And multiple times throughout the day. Think of that plate, and would you want to eat off that plate with all that on it? That's what's on our mouth. I see it every day. We don't see it. I see it every single day. Another thing is just kind of connection with your health too. A lot of times people ever get a cold or a virus and you can't kick it and you're like, why can't I get rid of this cold? Why can't I get rid of this virus? Even in long COVID, some people that had COVID, you know why they couldn't? They're using the same toothbrush. You should be changing out your toothbrush minimally every 3 months. If you ever get sick, change your toothbrush right away. Your toothbrush harbors all these viruses. You're not sterilizing that toothbrush. You're not dipping it in bleach or anything like that or putting it through an autoclave. You have to get rid of that and change it over. When people come to see me, we get a free toothbrush, and we have some toothbrush and floss here for everybody. I have had patients bring me their toothbrush and say, see, Doc, I've been using it a lot, and the toothbrushes are all splayed and everything. I don't want to see that. We don't want to see that. That's not getting the job done. You know, it's like when my wife has me clean the bathroom, she said, getting all the nooks and crannies. We got to be able to get in all the nooks and crannies and get everything out. So put a little respect on your mouth here, everybody, and improve all your oral health, okay? Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Strong, very good information. I'm glad you talked about the medical clearance that for procedures, but do you also need a medical clearance for when you're doing tooth extractions or any major work that you would do in your office?
Yes, once you are on dialysis or any type of kidney transplant or anything like that, we must have dental clearance through your physician, because we can't work on you. For one, when you're on dialysis, you're taking a whole lot of drugs, okay? And with some of the drugs that you're taking, it causes bleeding. So you can come to the dental office and you know how we clean your teeth, and you can have uncontrolled bleeding, which could lead to complications, okay?
Okay.
Another thing that you have, a lot of people when they're taking antihypertensive drugs, all the people here, including myself, that raise their hand are taking high blood pressure drugs. Those dry your mouth out. When they dry your mouth out, a dry mouth is easier to attract plaque, and it's easier, you know, to get periodontal disease or gum disease. That's another thing I want to talk. When they talk about the commercials, when they talk about gingivitis is all a stage of periodontal disease, okay? And periodontal disease used to be called what they call pyorrhea. We don't use that term anymore. But we do have to, going back to your question, we do have to have clearances from the physician to work on these patients.
Okay.
And they are more difficult to work on. But it's even more important that we work on them because of the complications if they get their mouth infected.
Exactly. Okay. We're going to have a chance at the end for questions and answers. And I believe you have some postcards or something on your tables to write down your questions so you don't forget. Okay, Dr. Nicholas?
Hi, good morning, everybody. It's so great for me to be here again this year to talk to you about chronic kidney disease. Today I want to talk to you about something even more targeted around a potential cause for chronic kidney disease. And you got a little bit about that earlier from Dr. Rue. She mentioned that two of the most common causes of chronic kidney disease are diabetes and hypertension. Well, it turns out that we recently found that one of the causes for up to 70% of people with kidney failure due to hypertension is due to a genetic cause. And this gene is called APOL1. Does anybody know what APOL1 is? Or have you heard about that? Well, APOL1, it's a gene. It stands for apolipoprotein 1. And we all have these genes, but it turns out that during evolution, these genes became mutated, and there are variants of this particular gene that was protective against African sleeping sickness in individuals who lived in sub-Saharan Africa. And as you can imagine, during the slave trade migration to the Western world, this gene, these variants of the gene became very widespread. And having one variant of this gene can increase your risk of having progressive kidney disease, such as due to hypertension. If you have two of these risk alleles or variants, then you are at increased risk even further. But it turns out that you need to have not just these two risk alleles or risk variants, you need to have another hit, what's called a second hit, to actually cause you to have kidney disease due to APOL1. Turns out about 40 to 50% of African American and Black individuals within the United States have at least one of these genes, these variants. And about 20%, I'd say about 13%, have the two variants. But only about 5% of individuals with the two variants can actually develop chronic kidney disease. So let's talk a little bit more about chronic kidney disease. You've already heard a little bit about this, but how do you know that you have chronic kidney disease? Does anybody know? There you go, I heard it, a blood test and a urine test. Why is that? Because in the early stages of chronic kidney disease, you have no symptoms. You only develop symptoms later on when your kidney disease has progressed much further. And we know the different stages of chronic kidney disease. There are 5 stages, stages 1 through 5. Those advanced stages are stages 4 and 5, where what's called your eGFR, which is what you get from your blood test, is in the range of 30 or lower. You're healthy or in the earlier stages when that eGFR is greater than 60, right? So you want to check for chronic kidney disease with your primary care physician. You know, find out if you have risk factors. You've heard about some of those: diabetes, high blood pressure. Also, if you're getting older than age 65 particularly, and belonging to racial ethnic minority groups such as many of us do. Those are very important risk factors. If you have those risk factors, there's a family history of chronic kidney disease or hypertension, you do want to get tested for this with a urine test and a blood test. The urine test will tell you if you've got urine albumin to creatinine ratio that's very high, greater than 30, and the eGFR will tell you what stage of kidney damage or kidney function you've got. So very important, the eGFR and the UACR. If you remember nothing from me today, I want you to remember that to ask your physician. So let's go back to talking about APOL1 kidney disease, or AMKD is what it might be called. So it turns out that, you know, in order to know if you have APOL1 mediated kidney disease, or AMKD, you need to know from a genetic test, right? And the only way that you can get that test is to go to your physician. Because these genetic tests are not done routinely, you need to ask for that test, particularly if there are risk factors. Some of the factors that can contribute to APOL1-mediated kidney disease are someone who has sickle cell anemia. Think about that. I'm sure you know of someone who may have sickle cell anemia. If you've got HIV, kidney disease, or if you've got something else called FSGS, or focal and segmental glomerulosclerosis. That's another cause of kidney disease, particularly in African American individuals. So those are some of the risk factors. You've also heard one other one, inflammation. Chronic inflammation is one of that second hit, that if you've got diseases where you're chronically inflamed, that can contribute to the expression of this APOL1 kidney disease. Very, very important to make sure you get tested if you are at risk. And what about treatment? We have no cure for AMKD at this point. There are a number of studies that are being done to identify new therapies that hopefully will become available in the very near future. But if you know that you've been tested and you're positive for these variants of APOL1, you want to start utilizing, some of the things you've heard about this morning, preventing chronic kidney disease progression through diet, exercise, weight loss, controlling blood pressure, controlling diabetes, all of those risk factors. So very important you've heard about, how common APOL1 mediated kidney disease might be, who might be at risk, some of the signs to look for, particularly in advanced stages of chronic kidney disease, and to make sure that you're engaging in some of the strategies to prevent progression of kidney disease towards kidney failure. And kidney failure is where your eGFR is less than 15. You want to be sure that you're engaging in all of these strategies way before your eGFR starts to decline.
Thank you, Dr. Nicholas. So just to thank you, very good. That number, that test that she said was significant is called an eGFR, which is your glomerular filtration rate. That tells you how well your kidneys are functioning, right? And so for most of us, for everyone, above 60 is normal. And as we age a little bit, it comes down, but it definitely, as the kidneys are damaged, it comes down a lot, right? And so you want to ask your doctors about your eGFR, because that is important, all right? That's something. The other thing I think you mentioned very important is inflammation. We talk about inflammation all the time, that it is the inflammation actually that worsens our cancers, that worsens our heart disease, right? We have heart attacks and strokes. And we learned today from our protein shake person, which today is his birthday, by the way. Happy birthday to you, and thank you for being here on your birthday. But one great way to lower the inflammation in our body is with fruits and vegetables, right? And so no one's gonna ask anyone in here to be vegan. I dare not ever say that. But we have a study that said we took people who were not vegans or vegetable people at all, and we asked them to only have a plant-based meal 2 days a week, 3 days a week, 4 days a week. And we did scans of their heart arteries, and it showed a decrease in inflammation, a decrease in cholesterol plaques, even if it was just 2 days a week. So can we ask you to only have plant-based meals 2 days a week? And plant-based means no animal products. So no, I gave up meat for Lent, and chicken is meat, you know. It's been difficult. It's been difficult. However, so no plant-based, so no eggs, no dairy, no milk, no animal products. As my niece used to say, nothing with eyes. Or someone asked one of my patients said, nothing that has a mama. Okay? And just 2 days a week, you will decrease inflammation, you'll decrease that cholesterol plaque. And so, in California, Los Angeles, we have lots of places that are good for plant-based meals.
And
right?
I would add, Dr. Rowe, that nephrologists, if you have chronic kidney disease, your nephrologists actually encourage you to have a plant-based protein diet, because that decreases the rate of decline of your kidney function, particularly if you're in the advanced stages. If you want to really slow it down even further, plant-based protein diet.
In our Nature Aid, they talked about pea protein, right? That's a plant-based protein, exactly. Okay, so our next, we're gonna have-
And I would just add, because I mentioned earlier that you don't know you have chronic kidney disease because there are no symptoms, we have our KDSAP kidney disease, awareness program here for our undergraduate students from UCLA that are here to screen you for chronic kidney disease.
Tell us a little bit more, Dr. Nicholas, about.
Oh, I'm happy to tell you a lot more about that.
Okay.
I'm totally amazed by these undergraduate students. They actually initiated this together with my colleague, Dr. Jimmy Wilson, who's in the back. Hey, Jimmy, stand up and raise your hand. So I've known Dr. Wilson for many, many years. He's an esteemed and trusted colleague of mine. And we've been able to organize this Kiddie SAP. This is our third year now. And they actually fundraise for this themselves. And they actually conduct this across Southern California. And it's increasing. We were here last year, and we're very pleased to have the group here again this year. They're amazing individuals.
Yes, thank you, Bruins, for being here. And they are doing screenings, so they put some questionnaires on the table. If you all want to be screened today, they can screen you for kidney disease, and they can refer you to some of the primary care physicians that are there too at UCLA to help with screening. So, stop by that table and check them out. So now we're gonna have our donor recipients, Tracy and Vernita. I'm not sure who wants to go first. Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone, or is it still morning? Good morning. Yeah, it's still morning. I'm Tracy, and I am a donor. I donated in 2022, and that was it was a pretty good experience. One of the things that I had to do was to basically drop some weight, and so I took it to another level. When I decided to donate, I donated on behalf of my wife, Renita, and she needed a kidney, and she was since she wasn't on dialysis, I decided to do it as quickly as possible before that time came for her, which it never did. But one of the things that I was asked, like I said, I was asked to change my weight. When I had the screening at UCLA, I donated through UCLA, and once I had the screening, they found out that a lot of things in my body was doing well. I didn't have any high blood pressure, hypertension or anything like that, or no diabetes, but even though all of those things ran in my family, from cancer up to diabetes. And it's been pretty severe throughout my whole family. And I was fortunate enough to not experience those things. But what I did experience was chronic pain. I had a lot of chronic pain. I thought it was from my service years, being in the infantry, out in the woods, falling on the ground, damaging my knees and my elbows and, all of those things, but it wasn't. It was basically my eating habit. So one of the things that I changed during that screening at UCLA was to change my eating habits. And I did that, I started doing that in 2019. One of the things that I learned during that process is you can reverse a lot of things in your body with your diet. And I didn't know it, but I had to go to a class and get knowledge of it. I went through a class in Loma Linda, me and my wife. She was already plant-based, but I ate everything, like the bio said. I really did eat everything up under the sun. I ate every kind of meat that you can imagine, dairy, a lot of pasta, everything. And it just did a number on my body. But my organs are still intact. So I went through this program. It was about 10 weeks, and did the screening as well, the pre-screening, and just found out that one of the things that I was lacking was the knowledge of food. And that's one of the things that I found to be lacking in our community is just that basic knowledge. Like Dr. Ruth said, I'm not going to tell anybody to go vegan. I'm not vegan, but I am very extremely plant-based, on a whole food plant-based. Anybody that says, hey, I have a vegan item, maybe you should look at it. I'm talking about a whole food plant-based diet. And that 2 or 3 days a week, it really, really does help. The studies show that you can reverse a lot of things in your body especially diabetes. But that needs to go through a doctor or physician. Once I donated, it took me about 6 weeks of recovery time. I did a little bit less, but I didn't do any heavy lifting or anything like that. And I did it right after I retired, so I didn't have to worry about working or anything. It was a good opportunity. I did it through the Parent Exchange program. So I was on my wife was put on the National Registry, and I was put on the National Registry too. That means that if one person, say if you have 3 people in your family and nobody was a match to you to get a kidney, then if someone decided to do a living donation, they could pair that kidney, your kidney, to someone across the United States. And then once you are paired up with somebody across the United States doing a living donation, that means you can receive that kidney. So my kidney went to someone else, and she got her kidney from another person, which she's displaying here, she'll talk about. And that's how that came about. She did go right to the top of the kidney list. And in California, I believe it's about 10 years. To even receive a kidney if you're just going through the normal process. But she went right to the top of the list. So that was a good opportunity for me. I have this book here. It'll be over here on the table. You can take a picture of it and get it through Amazon. But Tammy Winchell is the author of this book, and it's called Gifting Kidneys. And it talks about donation. It talks about kidney donation. It talks about the whole aspect of it. And this is the donor side. But it talks about, on the recipient side as well, but it basically touches on the donor side. Anybody that's skeptical about donation, and I know that's one of the things in our community too, is, we are skeptical because of some of the things they used to do back in the past on our bodies and stuff and experiment with us. So I really get it, and I don't condemn anyone for, feeling that way. But I just want people to get more information to make a, cohesive decision, about, this side of it, this side of the donating side of it. Anybody can donate, they can. It's just, they take you through a screening and they look at every aspect of your body to make sure that you can live on one kidney. And this is what this book talks about, is living on one kidney, and the different procedures as far as, how kidney failure is treated and what is your kidney. It gives illustrations in here, picture illustrations about if you want to learn more about, what your kidney looks like, the function. Besides hearing it, you can actually read it and see it, as well. She put a really good book together, and I'm in it in a couple of places. They have a picture in it and stuff, and, as far as donors. And, it was just a really cohesive book. So don't fear donation, or don't fear, the recipient side, if that is the case. But also don't fear getting healthy and staying healthy, because some of those things can be reversed.
Mm-hmm.
There's also another a program. It's called Linked by Love, and I was introduced with this. It's a couple of doctors, the Menendez brothers, I believe. They put together a show, and I think it's shown through YouTube, and and so they put together like this skit that talks about kidney. They have this family that's going through, the wife is going through having a knee transplant. And they just give some good pointers about it in real life situations, throughout the family, situations that they were faced with. And, this is also going to be over here on the table, so, you know, you can also look at that.
Okay, Vernita? Oh,
Oh, I just want to say one thing too.
gotta go.
You know, here's a myth about kidney donation. And I know, you know, most of us are Christian here, I believe. You know, can I have a beer? Can I have a beer after donation? Yes, you can have a beer. It's a myth that you can't have, you know, any kind of alcohol. Just keep it really to a minimum because you want to keep that kidney healthy. You know, it's doing the filtration of one and, you know, it used to be two, so.
You wanna go next? Okay, thank you.
Yes, I'm very grateful to have had the privilege of receiving a kidney, and it's been 2 years now, very thankful. I knew that I had kidney disease about 30 years ago, and as the doctor mentioned, there's no symptoms. The only way I knew is my 10-year-old daughter went to a regular physical, and she had high protein in her urine, and that wasn't normal. So they did some testing and found out she had this inherited disease where you have cysts in your kidneys. And so they said, well, she got it from one of the parents. And so I was tested, and I remember that my father had died of renal failure. I didn't get to know my father, so family history is important. And so I found out that I was the one that transmitted this condition to her. And so for 30 years, well, a little bit less than 30 years, I knew that I had kidney disease. And early on, I began asking the doctors, because you don't get to a nephrologist till later on. So I'd ask doctors, what can I do? And everyone would say, nothing. But I just didn't believe it. And so I contacted some of the national kidney organizations, and they would say things like, well, maybe there's not a cure, but you can delay the progression, delay your kidneys from getting worse. I said, okay, how? Go on a low sodium diet, begin to exercise, try to keep your stress down. We know it's hard. Try to keep your stress down. And they also said, cut back on animal protein. I'll say in my case, because it increased the growth of the kidneys. I don't know about every kidney disease. And so I did that. I was like, well, there is something I can do. So I just started experimenting. When we say whole food, plant-based, we're just talking about, you see on your table there's fruit. We're talking about vegetables. We're talking about more beans. We grew up on beans and rice. When money ran out at the end of the month, Mama would always make beans and rice. These are plant foods. And less of the dairy, less of the meat. So that's what I did. And in my case, it was very successful. I delayed that transplant as long as I could. I never did go on dialysis, but very grateful to do the transplant. And one thing I want you to know is that you can't be overweight. I'll put it that way. The doctors can share the exact weight, but what I'm saying is I encourage you to become healthy with kidney disease, because to have this major surgery, they want you to be below a certain weight. And so as my husband mentioned, he was not a direct match for me, but it still worked out. And that's what I want people to know, is that you can still consider donating to someone even if you're not a match. He donated to a complete stranger. I went to the top of the list. Oh my God, I'm just so grateful, and it's just so touching. A nationwide search went out. This lady here was a perfect match for me. We are friends to this day. Her name is Jill. She lives in Minnesota. She was 65 years old. She just wanted to do an act for God. And so I just want you guys to know these things, that transplant is a possibility for some people with kidney disease. Why do I say transplant? Well, the way it was explained to me is the outcome of a transplant will be more effective a better quality of life than on dialysis. I say that because some people, you know, I'll use myself for example. I was afraid to have the surgery because we know that there's always a slight risk of things going wrong with surgery. So I was afraid and had to work through the fear of just even thinking about a major surgery. I was concerned about transplant drugs for the rest of my life. Well, it turns out, I wish I had brought my meds. They're just a very few medications. I've had very few side effects, and I just weigh that. I've been to a dialysis center. I'm a medical social worker, so I very much understand. I weigh that against dialysis, and I'm just so very grateful that I had the knowledge of doing the transplant and was able to get one.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
I just want to say that these are incredibly compelling stories that teach us so much. One of the things that we did this morning is that we created some educational materials for you all on APOL1, on kidney transplantation, on dialysis. And there's a QR code that we can share with you where you can download some of that information. I also have some copies that I'll keep at the KDSAP screening desk that you can come and and share those with you. But this is amazing.
Yeah. I think Vernita mentioned something very important between dialysis and a transplant. So we need to also understand in our community that dialysis is not the end of the road, right? Dialysis is a stepping stone for you to have a kidney transplant, right? And so sometimes in our communities, we get stuck in that dialysis phase thinking that's it. But dialysis does not increase your mortality. It does not help you to live longer. And we need to understand that. What helps you to live longer is having a nice, new, good functioning kidney, right? So we have to remember those things. We also talked about, I know we talked about having medical tests like a dental clearance and things for, having a transplant. But in addition to your compatibility, right? You have to be a match, right? You also have to have a psychological evaluation. And so you mentioned about decreasing the stress in your life, right? So when we talk about, decreasing stress, we're going to today even have some mental health tips. How many of you have heard about floral therapy? So that's coming this afternoon because we have to find ways to decrease the amount of stress that we have in our life. The other thing when you're doing consultations for transplant is financial, really. How are you going to pay, maintain, and keep that going? Well, thus far, Medicare does a great job, and I say thus far. So we'll have to see how that plays out. The book that we talked about earlier, I don't know if you all remember Dr. Vincent Anthony. He was our nephrologist for the past 2 years. He had to take his daughter on spring break today, but he was one of the editorials, or he gave an opinion with this book, or with the series, the mini-series. So we'll pass that around too. So I was happy to hear about that. So right now we have a few minutes for questions. And I was told, I'm sorry, the cards are in your folders, the green folders that are in your beautiful bags. I love the clear bags because the Olympics are coming to LA and everybody's going to need a clear bag to go into the venue. So keep those bags around. But if we don't get to your question, you can fill out your question on the card and your information and then hand them to one of the folks in our Black KARE shirts and we'll get back to you. But are there any questions right now? We can take a few questions. Okay. Oh.
And I was over there with the blood test, standing in line, and talking
I love the sausage biscuit at McDonald's. I can make it with vegan sausage and with an English muffin. I knew the answer on the sodium, and when I came, I was terrified, and you really helped me. I'm gonna say one other quick thing. I have a twin sister. She found out, she lives in DC. She found out at the same time she had chronic kidney disease. She didn't tell me because she thought it was no big deal. I didn't tell her because I was scared. And that reflected the difference in the way doctors informed us. But I have just a couple of questions. On inflammation, is beet juice good and hibiscus tea?
I can't tell you about hibiscus tea. I think beet juice is fine. It should be, because it's plant-based, so it should be fine. I would also just want to say thank you for your testimony, because this is how everyone else learns, right? It's so important to share your story, and I really encourage everyone here who has a story like this to share it with your neighbor. I would also add that now, over the past 4 or 5 years, there are new therapies to prevent chronic kidney disease progression. So if you're not on those therapies, and some of you may have heard of these, there's on television, SGLT2 inhibitors, GLP-1 receptor agonists, which you heard about this morning, that will also help with weight loss. Those therapies can actually prevent chronic kidney disease progression. So if you're not on those, if you have CKD, ask your doctor.
And I've lost 25 pounds.
Wonderful.
Thank you. Those are great questions. And, you know, as physicians, we always like to hear when we're doing good work, right? So thank you for that. On the beet juice, just a comment. So you always have to worry about, be concerned about the sugar. So beet juice in itself is great. One of the things I do love when women like beets over the age of 50, because it has a lot of iron in beets. And so beet juice is good, but you have to worry about the sugar. And what else is sugar? Dextrose, corn syrup, and agave, right? So you have to worry about those things. So sugar is not our friend. Any other questions?
I can take that question, because I get that all the time. How much water do you drink a day? I usually recommend about 1 to 2 liters of fluid intake, which includes water, it includes tea, juice, coffee, everything. So what you can do is when you go home, this is about 250 mils of water. So you can go home, get a jug, fill in about 1 liter to 1.5 liters or so you have an idea of what it looks like. And then you'll have a good idea during the course of your day. You want to spread it out over the course of the day, so you're drinking fluids at every meal. So by the end of the day, you've had your 1.5 liters to 2 liters. One of the ways that you can check that you're drinking enough fluids is by the afternoon, the color of your urine is clear. Because you know when you wake up in the morning, it's very dark. It's concentrated. Your kidneys are supposed to concentrate your urine at night. So if you're drinking all of your fluids, by the afternoon, your urine starts to become very clear.
Okay. Vernita?
Yeah, I would like to clarify the wait time for a kidney transplant. I was told it was 10 years. I was on the waiting list for 5 years. All this time trying to slow down the progression, and at that 5-year mark, my GFR had gotten down to 13, and the doctor said, it's time for you to go on to have your transplant. I was feeling okay. I was kind of tired. The decreased stress, I had begun working part-time. And I said, why can't I just wait? Because remember, I told you I had some fear. And I emphasize that because it is scary. Having a chronic illness, this lady here mentioned it. It is something to work through, so it's okay to talk to people. On the table there, I have a flyer with a kidney support group that's by Zoom. Take a picture of that. We do need people to talk to. I said, could I just wait? I'm not feeling that bad. She said, no, let's transplant you while you're healthy. So I had heard someone say that the waiting list was 5 years. It's actually 10, at least when I was told. But one good thing is if you do have Medicare, some people have got transplanted through the Mayo Clinic in Arizona, and their wait list is much shorter. So it's just something to keep in mind that we don't have to stick just to California if we have Medicare.
Okay. Any questions? Yes.
And I started out as a diabetic at age 11. And I had diabetes over 40 years. So thank God I didn't have no amputation, no heart attack, no stroke or anything like that. But I always kept my weight down because I guess we working and trying to, I had a lot of laser done to my eyes, so thank God I could still see. Now, my question is, how long, now my understanding is that being a transplant patient, it lasts for 20 years. So I don't know what the rate is as far as having the kidney. I've had it for 12 years now.
That's excellent. Your kidney transplant can last
20 years. It's different for everybody because it depends on the cause of your kidney failure, if it might come back in the transplanted kidney. But I've known patients who've lost their transplant and they get another transplant. I've known patients who've had 3 kidney transplants. So it's wonderful to hear that you've kept your transplant. That's because you're doing everything right. You're taking your medication on time every day. You're getting your blood tests done regularly. Make sure you're at the range of therapeutic dose for the therapeutic levels for the medications that you're taking, and your exercising, diet. All of those things are important to maintain your kidney health of that transplanted kidney. So you just want to keep doing what you're doing. Let's see if you can go for 20 years. Wonderful. That's also very important that you maintain regular visits with your doctors, because they'll be able to do all the blood tests. They'll change your medications if needed. Identify any potential complications that might happen, so they can take charge of that early on.
Question? Yes. In the back?
Hi, so my mother had kidney disease. She actually had 2 kidney transplants and has since passed on in 2 years actually. And my question is around what is for those who have immediate relatives who have kidney disease, or are we at more risk for kidney disease? I feel like I'm very high resistant to it. So I'm just here to understand, are we at more risk?
Yes, so having a family history of kidney disease and kidney failure,
especially in the first degree relative. So mom, sister, brother, etc. You're definitely at risk, and you want to get tested, get screened if you haven't been screened. You even here today, or talk to your primary care physician. It doesn't mean that you have it, you're at risk. So you can decrease your risk by doing many of the things we've already talked about this morning.
Yeah, and that's important, decreasing your risk. As Renita said, there are things that you can do, paying attention to your weight, paying attention to how much animal protein, paying attention, to your blood pressure, making sure you get screened for diabetes. So those are all the preventative things. So we have lots of things, that we can do. One of the questions they asked today, how much fruits and vegetables should you have on your plate at one time? Well, it definitely should be more than the protein, right? Okay, so if you have a big giant steak, as when you go out to eat places, which is so good, you should also get that bowl of broccoli or asparagus on the side, right, and bring most of the steak home. So it is your fruits and vegetables should be 75% of your plate, right? Okay, so the meat protein should be like a little tiny fist part.
And those steaks are expensive, I'm just saying.
They are expensive. Okay, here.
I have stage 4 kidney disease. My count is at 19 right now. I also have systemic lupus, 10-year cancer survivor. So with all of those things, can you be a candidate for it?
That's a great question. So you are evaluated for kidney transplantation depending on exactly what you said, any other medical complications that you might have, right? They determine, there are a number of other things they look at as well. Your age is important, and if you have potentially a living donor who could transplant you. Now, your EGFR was around 13 or so. So now we can actually go down with the EGFR as low as 6 before you get transplanted. So an EGFR of 19, you're still a ways away. It depends not only on symptoms, but also on your metabolic profile, your lab results, for example. But your doctor will evaluate you to see if whatever diseases you have, whether you're lupus or other diseases, how active they are and how they can impact the medications and your lifestyle following kidney transplant to determine your eligibility for a transplant. It's different for everyone, but there's a list of things that they will check. And if you have a donor who could provide you with a kidney transplant sooner than having to wait on a list, then that increases your chances too.
All right, thank you. We're getting ready for lunch, so we're going to feed you shortly. If you're getting hungry, the fruit on the table, please have a piece. Take some home. That is for you, everyone at the table. I saw some, okay.
Possible to get on as many lists as you can. It increases your opportunity to be available in the event
I'm really glad that you said that. You can be on multiple lists that will increase your chance. Whichever one where you come up first, that's where you'll get it. But I can tell you, I've known it's very rare. It's like winning the lottery, but you can be on a list and get transplanted even before you start dialysis. It's very possible. It's rare, but it can happen.
Yes, I think that goes to the importance of being screened regularly and early and having, a primary care physician that's very proactive, right? And getting you to the people where you're supposed to be and having information, like being on more than one list, right? We should not be keeping our medical conditions and history to ourselves, right? It needs to be outspoken and talked about. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, say it again, please.
Why is the GFR looked at differently in African Americans versus non?
That was a huge error that was made years ago.
There you go.
Shamefully, I would say. As a nephrologist, I'm happy to say that, because it should have been caught many years ago. But I can tell you that it's changed now. And even at UCLA, I was instrumental in making sure that that was changed. So all of the labs for the EGFR at UCLA right now is race-free. Unfortunately, it's not the same across the country, but you can ask your physician for your race-free EGFR if you don't have that.
And that's very important. That is the importance of having people that look like us on the regulatory boards, right? Okay, so that was bias at its max, okay? So that has been changed. All right, yes.
Really want to stay on top of this, a combination of blood and urine kind of assessment to keep us where we're at, knowing where we're at.
It's a great question. The National Kidney Foundation played a very instrumental role in creating a lab test. It's one test. It's called a kidney profile that includes the urine albumin to creatinine ratio, the UACR, as well as the blood EGFR, that you get tested for serum creatinine, and that is calculated for you using that race-free EGFR to get your EGFR measurement, and will tell you the stage of chronic kidney disease where you are. Ask for it.
Okay. Renee, was it a question? Yeah.
So the EGFR, when we're very young and healthy, I would say around age 40 or so or younger, that EGFR number is a little bit higher for men than women. It's about, let's say, over 100. As we age over time, it decreases gradually each year by an average of 1 number per year. But when you have other complications like diabetes, hypertension, any other kind of disease that can increase the progression, it will decrease faster. And I have to say that lucky African Americans, we tend to decrease faster. And that's why the screening is so important. That's why staying on top of it and asking your physician about testing, we have to be proactive, right? Ask your physician for the test and find out what therapies there are that you should be on.
All right, any more questions? Concerns? Panel, any last thoughts? Okay.
I just want to say we must advocate for ourselves as patients. The reason why I started a plant-based support group is because I found that physicians in general aren't given much nutrition during their training, and so a lot of my doctors didn't understand about dietary changes. They weren't able to give recommendations, but I did have a doctor who was the chief of nephrology at Kaiser that had done some extra studying, and he's the one that said, I want you to go mostly plant-based. He didn't say 100%, but he said mostly, and he gave me a book to read. And so I don't want us to always, I really appreciate and value doctors, but we also have to do our own extra checking and research and find out if there's other things we can do, contact national foundations, do searches on the internet, of reputable organizations, and just be proactive. Ask questions if you feel like there's something missing. I know of a man who, he should be on the transplant list based on his GFR, but he's not. And so in the support group, he was sharing this, and we says, well, go back and ask the nephrologist, because he was only given the option of dialysis. And we said, no, go back and talk. So he went back and talked, and some kind of way it was just missed. It was not off, a transplant was not given as an option. So we must advocate for ourselves as patients.
Okay.
Is there a EGFR at which you should not receive metformin?
Yes, and that EGFR is 30. Less than 30, 30 or lower.
You should not be on metformin. Great question.
I would like to say, as far as the donor side, if anyone out there, in earshot has kidney disease, don't give up hope, because you can advocate for yourself too to receive a kidney, a living donor kidney. People have posted on Facebook. They've posted on any kind of social media. I've seen billboards on the side of the freeway say, I need a kidney, and their prayer was answered. So you don't have to know a person to get a kidney. You just have to know how to put yourself out there to get it. And, you can receive help, from any friend or family, member to advocate to get a living kidney.
All right. Well, thank you. This has been great. We shared a lot of wonderful information. We'll be around, the rest of the time. We have a great mental health tip coming up after we're eating lunch here. So please hang around, take some fruit, see the UCLA students over here for screening, or just if you have more questions, right? To have more information, or take some of this information home to family or friends, because it's all good. All right, so now I believe we're gonna start serving lunch. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the time for the post-test also. We will hand out a different color piece of paper that has the same test that you took a couple of hours ago. Please just retake the exact same test and we'll pick it up. So we'll hand it out right now.
I'm going to do another raffle, so if you want to get your raffle tickets out, I have a lot of gift certificates to give. All right, is everyone ready? You have your raffle tickets ready? We're calling out. Get your tickets ready. I'm calling numbers. Ticket number 204. 204. Anyone have lucky ticket 204? All right, we've got a winner. So we have $25 at Ralph's. All right, so we're going to keep it moving. I have 6 more to give at this level. Ticket number 199. Ticket number 197. 199, 197. So I have a ticket for 199 and another ticket for 197. Yes. Which number? 199? Yes. Ticket number 197. 197. Anyone have lucky ticket 197? Ticket number 226. 226. 226. Another 25 for Ralph's. 242. 242, all right. Tanya? Yeah, right here. All right, I'm going to do 3 more. $224. $224. Anyone have ticket 224? $239. $239, okay. Keep it moving. Ticket 225. 225, all right, $25 for Ralph. Huh? What did you say? Oh, so another one, okay. 184. 184, all right. And did we ever get ticket 224? $241. All right, $25 at Ralph's. Okay, let me do one more before we move on. So we're moving up, y'all. I have $50. So let's pull one. 228. 228. There we go. All right, this one here, we're moving up. That's $50 for Sprouts. So if you stick around, we're going a little bit higher, so I'll do another raffle in about 10, 15 minutes, and we're going to be moving up higher increments. So just a reminder, everyone who's at the tables, I know you're enjoying lunch, if we could get those post-tests completed, and then we can collect those, and then we'll come back in a minute for another raffle.
Gotta go get one more. You guys turn in your post test. Don't put it in your You guys turn in your post test. Okay, I'll come right back. Okay, thank you. You turn in your post test.
All right, it's time for another raffle before we get to our floral therapy. So get those tickets out. We're winding down. All right. So, let's get a number out. So ticket number 194. 194. All right. So we have $50 for Sprouts. $50 for Sprouts. All right, let's keep it moving, keep it moving. So we are going up. 217. 217. All right, so she's getting $75 for Trader Joe's. We have a few more. Get those tickets ready. 203. All right, $75, Trader Joe's. I'm mixing them up. Two more. 208. Whoa, that's the lucky table over there. $75, Trader Joe's. We're gonna pull one more. And remember, stick around because there's still a couple more. Our final one at this level, 201. All right, 201. So this concludes this raffle. We have a couple more after our mental health presentation, so you have to stick around if you want to be a winner.
Thank you, Lisa. Congratulations, winners. We heard a bit about how important it is for us to control stress. Our mental health is key to our physical health. They are hand in hand. And our next presenter is someone who is going to talk to us and give us strategies about developing and improving our mental health. Kiana Bush is a licensed clinical social worker. She is a proud graduate of Howard University. I can't not do this. They put a chip in our brains. Hate you! She also received her master's in social work from another great California university. We still love you guys from UCLA. Thank you, everybody. But Kiana got her MSW from USC, Fight on Trojans. She led and organized a behavioral health department for one of the largest outpatient clinics in Los Angeles County. She was a liaison for the Department of Veteran Affairs. She received the Agents of Change Award from USC. She now runs a boutique private psychotherapy practice in Los Angeles, utilizing both Western and indigenous practices. She's also a proud member of the Beverly Hills, West California chapter of the Lynx. Please welcome Kiana Bush.
Thank you. All right. Again, my name is Kiana, and I am just so excited to be here. All of the information that we have heard today from us, by us, is amazing. So, I want to start off by asking a question. What is the first thing, if someone can raise their hand and share, what's the first thing that comes to mind when you think of wellness? It's no right or wrong answer. Yes. Tranquility. Perfect. All right, well, thank you for those responses. I'm extremely excited to highlight wellness, or not even highlight, because many of us have talked about this today, but reiterate wellness from a holistic perspective. And what does that mean? It means our physical health, our mental health, our oral health, and our spiritual health are all interconnected. They're not separate. If one is affected, it's a domino effect. So one affects the other. In the recent past, from a cultural standpoint, many of us of African descent were unwilling to seek or participate in mental health treatment, right? A lot of times it was, I'm not crazy, or what happens behind closed doors stays behind closed doors, right? If one thing I can identify from the pandemic, one thing that was quote unquote good that came out of the pandemic is that people of African descent have been and started to be willing to focus on wellness from a holistic perspective, right? Which includes our mental health. According to research, since the pandemic, millions of Americans have reported an increase in loneliness, depression, anxiety, grief, loss, and people are even having thoughts of wanting to harm themselves. Now, although many of us are not walking around with masks, there are residual effects from the pandemic. Many people are managing symptoms called long-term COVID and symptoms, mental health symptoms that I mentioned earlier, the depression, the loneliness, the grief, the loss, etc. And unfortunately, this current administration continues to trigger and exacerbate our anxieties amongst many other unpleasant feelings and emotions. However, I am very pleased and delighted to say that I've seen an increase with us, with our community seeking mental health services and treatment. So, what I'm also seeing is we are giving ourselves as a community the permission to be vulnerable, to understand and to know that we are well-deserving, we are loving, sometimes strong, sometimes happy, sometimes hurt, sometimes angry, human beings who are now reaching out and participating in the resources that are available to us. Research also shows the healthier we are as individuals, meaning physically, mentally, spiritually, orally, etc., the healthier we show up in our lives and our relationships. Okay? So let me ask you a question. Can somebody with a show of hands, when you hear of psychotherapy, can someone just raise their hand and tell me what comes to mind when you hear the word psychotherapy? And there's no right or wrong answer. Brain. Anyone else with a show of hands? Mental health. Emotions. All perfect. So what I want to do is I want us to be clear that the traditional forms of therapy, what we think about, oftentimes people think about someone going and sitting on a couch and looking up at the ceiling and talking about things, right? Which is a form of therapy. That's perfect. But what I want to do is I want us to shift our minds a little and think about some alternate ways that we can implement coping strategies into our lives. Really, some of us may already be doing these things. So, for instance, with the show of hands, has anybody heard of nature bathing? All right, 2 people. Well, I'm impressed. So nature bathing is a term called Shinrin Yoko. And it is a Japanese therapeutic practice that involves spending time outside in a forest or just in a natural setting. So we're in California. If you go down the street and see people at a park running or walking, if you go outside and you're sitting in your backyard and you're just sitting in nature, it's really just you sitting in nature and becoming one with nature. Research suggests that sitting in nature or being in nature reduces stress, anxiety, improves our mood, improves our sleep, lowers our blood pressure, enhances our immune function, increases creativity as well as concentration, just from being outdoors with nature, right? Has anybody, by a show of hands, heard of walk and talk therapy? No? Okay, so walk and talk therapy, what is that? It's also known as outdoor therapy or hiking therapy, and it's a form of psychotherapy, except it involves being outside, walking and talking with your therapist, and of course it would be in an area where there's not a lot of foot traffic, but it's being outdoors and integrating your mental health with your physical health, and if you believe the connectedness to nature, your spiritual health, right? And so again, the benefits are lowered anxiety, depression, good for your blood pressure, etc. Now, I want to get down to our floral activity. I see that there are some people who are proactive. If you have your flowers in your vases, please take them out, because we're going to do something with those flowers in those vases, all right? So there is And I was surprised, but I kind of was and kind of not at this point. Was surprised. Harvard University, the University of New Jersey, and also the University of Northern Florida have conducted research around floral healing, okay? And so before we do the activity, I want to talk about what flowers do for us just being in our presence, right? So the research suggests that having flowers, just having flowers in your home for 3 days, reduces anxiety, reduces depression, increases compassion for kindness for others, boosts your energy for happiness and enthusiasm at work. Yes, I said at work. So having flowers in your home can actually transfer over positivity into your workspace, okay? Specifically for our loving, treasured seniors in our community, flowers have shown to refresh current memory. Seniors performed higher on everyday memory tasks and experienced enriched personal memories with the presence of flowers, simply just being in your home, okay? And this is a big one because loneliness is such a big deal for people across all ages. Flowers encourage companionship, okay? Individuals who receive flowers, the research suggests, re-engage with members of their community, including family, friends, enlarge their social contacts, which include more neighbors, religious support, and even medical personnel. This is all from just having flowers in your home or gifting flowers to someone or receiving them, okay? So, let me ask you this question. Has anybody, by a show of hands, participated in mindfulness activities? Ooh, okay. All right, I like that, right? And many people participate in yoga. Yoga is another, right? There's free yoga classes. If you Google free yoga and put in your zip code, things will come up, right? So there's ways to incorporate, ways to manage anxiety, depression, and those uncomfortable feelings without even spending a lot of money, okay? So, what I want us to do right now is I want us to tap your feet. We're gonna start the activity. I want us to tap our feet. I want us to become very present in this moment, right? Because our minds are constantly going. Tap your feet. I want you to stop tapping your feet. I want you to close your eyes. And I want us to start, many of us who've participated in mindfulness have done this many times, so this won't be new to you, but it's important for us to get grounded. I want us to take 3 deep breaths. I want us to breathe in, fill up your lungs, and hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I want us to exhale. I want us to breathe in, fill up your lungs, and hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. I want us to exhale. 1 more. Breathe in. Fill up your lungs and hold for 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhale. I want you to open your eyes, please. And you should have 3 flowers or maybe more in front of you. And I want you to pick up one of your flowers. It doesn't matter which one, just pick one up. And I want you to hold the flower in your hand. And I want you to examine the flower. I want you to look at the flower's colors. I want you to look at the stem. And if your flower has leaves, look at the leaves. I want you to touch the petal gently. Look the flower over as well and see if you see anything unique about your flower. Unique. You see anything unique about your flowers, how it's made. I want you to touch the stem with your fingertips. I want you to smell your flower. Does your flower have a scent? Does the color or the scent, if it has one, remind you of anything? And I want you to place your flower in your vase. In no particular way, just gently place it in your vase. I want you to look at your other flowers, and I want you to just pick one, any one. And I want you to hold the flower in your hand and examine it. And I want you to think about everything it took for this flower to be here with you The fact that at one point this flower was in fact a seed, that someone planted this seed in soil, watered this plant, the sun, the water, maybe even some rain. I want you to think about everything that it took for this flower to blossom and be cut for us to have this moment right here today. I want us to think about our own evolution as we started off as babies and had many life experiences, ups and downs, triumphs and some challenges, some supports that landed us to this activity right here. And I want you to place this flower in your vase in no particular way, just gently place it. And you should have another flower. And if you don't have one, please just try and visualize one. I apologize if you don't. If you have one, please pick it up. Or you can even take out one of the ones you have in your vase if you need to. And I want you to examine this flower. I want you to think of a time, something, not even a time, something right now that you're really grateful for. From something as the breath, the gift of life, to being able to walk, talk, be here with one another in community today. Whatever you're grateful for, I want you to look at your flower and I want you to think of that. And I want this flower to be a reminder of what you're grateful for today in this moment. And I want you to place your flower in your vase. And now I'm going to ask you all to close your eyes and listen to the sound of my voice. Get comfortable in your chair, as comfortable as you can. And I want you to imagine yourself walking in a garden filled with the flowers that you have in your vase. Imagine a garden, just multiply that by thousands. And it's you in the garden, smelling the fresh scent of your flowers. You have on no shoes, no socks. Your feet are touching the petals, your toes are touching the petals. It's a sunny day. And not sunny to the point where your eyes are squinting, but it's comfortable and it's sunny and you feel the sun and the warmth on your face, on your hands, on your feet, on your arms. And you're walking through this beautiful garden and you see the flowers, you hear the birds chirping, they're singing a song to you. And then you hear water running. This water is just running. And you're walking through the garden. You're walking towards the water. And you're walking, and you see butterflies. You turn to your far right, you see a tree, and squirrels are chasing each other and just having the best time. And you get to the edge near where the water, you hear the water. And you're like, wow, this is a beautiful waterfall. And you look up and you see the sky, and the sky is so blue. And you see a reflection from the water all the way up in the sky of a rainbow. And your body is engulfed in this rainbow. The most beautiful colors, blues, yellows, purples. And you look around and you take a deep breath. And you feel joy in your heart. You feel welcomed. You feel belonged. You feel God's love permeating through you and throughout the garden. When you all are ready, please take a deep breath. Hold it for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhale. And when you're ready, please open your eyes. And that is an example of floral healing. Does anybody Anybody have any questions? No? Okay, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Kiana. That was beautiful. One more applause, please. I have to say something. Maybe it's because we're in a church, but I was with some of my sisters, and we were passing out the flowers. And I was like, I'm not sure if we're going to have enough. And someone said it's like the loaves and fishes, like the flowers just kept coming out of everywhere. So I hope that everybody has a flower, and I hope that you will enjoy the beautiful bouquets that you made and that they will give you some richness. So we are concluding. We have one more raffle, and the money is getting bigger. More and more apples and fresh things that you can buy from, what's the next, Trader Joe's? More Trader Joe's. So here we go, everybody. Now it's really getting intense. Here we go, Lisa.
All right, this is it, everyone. We have two more. This is it. Mix them up good. Get them in there, pull them out, get ready. Uh-oh, I don't have my glasses on. 193, ticket number 193. 193. Okay, we're moving on. You have to be present to win. 230. Oh, that's the lucky table. $100 at Sprouts. $100 at Sprouts. Everybody should have been at that table. All right. All right, so this is our final one, everyone. So this is your last chance to win. Last chance. We are looking for ticket number 235. All right, $100 for Trader Joe's. All right, this concludes our program, so we're going to bring up our other chair. So my name is Lisa Camille Grant. I'm with the Beverly Hills West California chapter. I'm the chair of this event, and so I'm really excited, and I hope that everyone had a great time. We had a great turnout. Next year, we're going to look to have even more people, more prizes, more gifts. So we do hope to see everyone next year. This has just been a really great event. And we have Belinda Stith, who's our link sister from the Los Angeles, California chapter, who is also a chair of this event.
Good afternoon, everyone. We really, really hope you enjoyed this, but more importantly, that you learned a lot today. And we hope to be doing this again next year, and we hope we'll see you again next year. We appreciate all of you coming, and you can still do some screenings while you're here. And from the Los Angeles chapter, I want to say happy birthday to our platinum member, Jackie Ryan. Today is her birthday. So happy birthday, Jackie. So once again, thank you so much for coming, and we hope to see you again next year.
Yeah.
Yes, you may take your fruit and the flowers. What about the vases? Are they to leave the vases, or can they have them?
Take the vases.
You can take the vases as well. We also want to collect your surveys as well as your post-tests. Remember, you took a pre-test before at the beginning, and the post-test is just to determine what you learned and how much information you gained. So be sure and turn those in.
And then also, we want to just thanks again to our wonderful speakers and also to our vendors. We have the UCLA team over there doing the kidney screenings, and we really, this is our second year that they've been present. So hopefully next year will be bigger. So we'd like to thank everyone, our committees from both chapters, Beverly Hills West and Los Angeles, that worked to make this event a success. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Oh, and also to our wonderful MC, Tanya Acker. Thank you so much. This is her third year being our MC, so we hope you enjoyed everything. And like Belinda stated, the screenings are still open, and feel free to take that fruit and put them in your bags.
Okay, we just want you to say a word.
Okay. It's gonna fall.
Good afternoon again, everyone. On behalf of Holman United Methodist Church, the Church of the Bells, we want to thank you for this wonderful, wonderful presentation and medical information forum today. It was outstanding. I'd like also to introduce my sister in Christ and also part of the medical team here, our health and wellness team here at Holman, Camille Woolfolk. She also serves on our Holman Board of Trustees. So I'd like to introduce her and have her to say a few words to you.
We're so happy that everybody was able to come out and enjoy this very important and informative seminar that we had today. And I'd also like to invite you to come visit our church at any time. We have 2 services at 8 and 11. Please join us to worship God. Thank you. Oh, tomorrow only 1 service, sorry. I didn't know that. Okay. All right, thank you.
At 11 o'clock.
At 11 o'clock tomorrow, we have our service, and please come join us.
And we have wonderful ministries here. We have some wonderful ministries here at Holman. One of them is our Saturday School for African American History. And it's my understanding that there are 2 sessions left in the month of April.
Yes, 2. Yes, April, we have 2, no more in March, 2 more in April.
2 more in April.
Right.
So please go online and take a look at what is being offered
The church website.
on our church website, holmanumc.com. Our services are also on YouTube every Sunday at 8, currently 8 and 11. So you can watch them anytime during the week. And also 11 o'clock a.m. service is broadcast live on KJLH 102.3 FM. So again, we thank you, and we look forward to having you again next year. Okay.
All right, thank you. The QR codes up here is for the educational material, if anyone wants to see that. All right, thank you all.